Hi all, here I am going to give an overview of an NodeMCU, which is a very good starter board for who have been planning to do an IoT projects. Okay, if you want to have a look at a NodeMCU, okay, it is going to be looking like this. Okay, here on the left hand side you can see an Wi-Fi antenna trace which has been there on an PCB. Then you will be having an integrated Wi-Fi module. Then here you can see an IO peripherals which has been useful for communication. Here it has an inbuilt voltage regulator. Okay, this is an NodeMCU. Okay, if you want to see an internal what all the things it has been there. Okay, here it has an micro USB port which has been used for an programming your NodeMCU. Okay, to program a NodeMCU you need to have an Arduino IDE. It is an open source, you can download it. On this NodeMCU you can find in two push buttons. Okay, one is for an reset and another one is for an flash memory. Okay, then here you have an USB to TTL converter, that is CP2102. This is going to convert your USB information to an TTL logic which can communicate to the microcontroller. And here it has an one onboard LED. This has been connected to an D0 pin. And here you have an ESP12E chip. Okay, now let us see the pin diagram of a NodeMCU. Okay, here you can see total 16 GPIO pins. GPIO stands for general peripheral input output pin. Okay, here you can see GPIO 1, 3, 15, 13, 12, 14, and this side also you have all those GPIO pin can be acting as a digital pin. That means it can take an high or a zero value. Digital read and digital out is possible. Then for reading an analog value, here it has an only one pin, that is an here ADC0, or you can call it as an A0. Okay, that analog signal is converted into an digital signal with the help of an ADC, analog to digital converter. It is going to convert your analog value into an 10-bit equivalent value. That means 10-bit ADC means it can have value from 0 to 1023. Okay, the analog voltage it can read is from 0 to 3.3 volts. Along with this general peripheral and an analog pins, it is going to be supporting some of the communication protocol to connect to an external devices or an external world. Those are, first thing you can see an UART communication pins here. Then you have an SPI communication pin here. Then you can have an I2C protocol, that is SCL and SDA pin. Then it also supports an memory card interfacing pin. Okay, that is the pin it has been shown here. Along with that one you can have an enable pin, reset pin, and an ground and VCC supply. Okay, this ground and 3.3 volts are an output voltages, you can connect to the external peripherals or anything. Then here you have an V in. Okay, this is the old external supply voltage you want to give. Okay, either you can connect to this V in pin or you can connect through this USB port. Okay, it is going to be getting an power supply. Okay, this V in can have an voltage from 5 to 12 volts. Okay, let us see that pin configurations where I have been made a table. When it comes to an power, it is a micro USB 3.3 volts it can take. Then V in for an external power source you can connect it. The control pins available are enable and reset. Analog pin is an only one, A0. Then GPIO pins are GPIO 1 to GPIO 16 it has. Then SPI pin are SD1, CMD, SD0 clock. Okay, I have been shown in the previous slide. Then you have an UART pins. Okay, this UART it has an two UART interfaces. Okay, one is used to upload an firmware program, another one is for a communication. Okay, then it has an I2C pin. Okay, now let us see the special feature. Okay, if you are talking about any of the hardware board, it will be having an processor or microcontroller. Actually, this NodeMCU is consisting of a microcontroller, right? Okay, here we are going to use this board for some dedicated applications. Okay, this microcontroller comes with an 32-bit RISC architecture. Okay, here in this NodeMCU you are going to use a Tensilica. Okay, that is an 32-bit RISC. RISC stands for Reduced Instruction Set Computer. Then the operating voltage is 3.3 volts. Then if you are giving an external input voltage, that can take a value from 7 to 12 volts. Okay, then internally it has an voltage regulator that will make sure that it has been not exceeding in 3.3 volts. As you all know that analog input pin is 1 and there is an UART for 1. Then it has an SPI interface 1, I2C interface 1, and it has an flash memory of an 4 MB and static RAM of an 64 KB. The clock speed it is going to utilize is 80 megahertz. It can take from 80 megahertz to 160 megahertz, and you know that it has an USB TTL based on CP2102 is included on board. It has an PCB antenna, that is nothing but antenna has been traced on your PCB itself. Okay, it is very much small sized, fit inside your IoT projects. Okay, this is an general overview regarding an NodeMCU.